I like the fact that none of you guys made a major mistake in the last game. That's why I love slow time control games so much. It's we didn't make major mistakes, right? The little mistakes make a big difference. They add up. But in slow time control, you don't like blunder pieces really. Um, I mean, in my first tournament, someone blundered a knight that I took with my knight, and it gave me a fork on their queen and rook. So I guess it does happen. It's just you can go back and look at that. It's on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. I think if you do, it's there in chat. The Nightbot shows it. But that was game 4. It was my 4th game because I lost the first 3 games of that tournament. I was just starting to play tournament. This is only my 2nd tournament. I was just starting to play over the board. I lost my first 3 games in games that I probably could have won, and then won the 4th game against like a 1,000 rated opponent. Hello and welcome to the last and final game of day 2 of the Real BAC Championship. I was playing a game with White again versus Surim Zaman. He was 1195 and I was 874. This guy was really interesting. He was very, very serious and older than me. But had been playing chess for a long time, which I had not. I have not. But he was a really nice guy. He was fun. And when I play chess, I drink a lot of water. So I go to the bathroom a lot. I go and pee, and I'm only gone for like a minute or 2. I rush in, go to the bathroom, wash my hands, come out. I want to make sure that nobody feels shady. But this guy, despite the fact that I was chugging a giant thing of water, and he had no water in sight, and I hadn't seen him drink any water at all, every time I went to pee, this guy went to pee. So I really feel like he thought I was like trying to cheat, which was really funny because I don't even think I heard him pee. I would go and like pee in the urinal, and there was only one urinal, but then he would go and like into the stall, and it was just like silent for like while I was peeing. I mean, I could hear myself peeing, but he was just like silent in the stall. And then I went and washed my hands, and he came out and he washed his hands. And like you can hear when somebody pees into a toilet. Like it wasn't a urinal, like it was a toilet. Like you can't really silently pee into a toilet, not as a dude, not as a chick either. So I don't know. I think he didn't have enough time to cheat. He didn't seem like a cheater. He wasn't playing like a cheater. I certainly wasn't playing like a cheater. But I really think he thought I was cheating. So it was like a really interesting thing. He was a nice guy. We were chatting, but he was like very serious, and like he like would follow me into the bathroom and then just stand in the stall for 30 seconds. Super weird experience because I peed maybe like 5 times in that game. Because at this point I had drank like 8 bottles of water, and then I had like a really big Evian, like the huge Evian. Um, a weird kink. It kind of was like a weird kink, like a huge Evian, and I was chugging that while I was playing. Um, I just kind of like compulsively drink when I play chess, so that's kind of what was happening. I drink water. I don't compulsively drink alcohol. Anyway, I started with e4 as I always do, and he played this. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. We're in the French defense. That's fine. d4. Let's go. I've never played the French defense in person before, so I was, kind of excited to give it a shot, see how it's gonna go. Not anymore. No more white Russians. Yeah, I used to drink a lot of white Russians, but that was before chess. And then he plays this, and I go, oh my God, am I about to play the cow? And I'm like, no, certainly not. He's going to play like this. This move is going to be at like a hypermodern opening, or maybe like a hippo, like maybe he'll do something like this, like who knows. But this is in my mind. So I just bring out my knight, standard bullshit. And he plays this move. So I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what he's doing, But like, you know, maybe, I'm not really sure. So I bring this out because I'm comfortable with the Italian, not because it's a good move or it's the best move, but I'm just thinking like he hasn't done anything. I'm comfortable with the Italian. I might as well get my bishop out because I feel comfortable in these positions. Wasn't the best move, but it was okay. And then he plays his knight there, and I'm like, oh my god, it is the cow. Oh my god, it is the cow. Oh my god, it is the cow. So I'm just like, all right, fine. I'm just going to develop my pieces. It's going to be fine. It's no big deal. We're okay. He brings this other knight in. It's officially the cow. I bring my other knight up. He brings his knight here. And I just start thinking for a minute. And I'm like, man, like I've seen Tyler 1 play this bullshit so many times. Right? He's going to do this, and then he's going to do this. And I can't take because then he has the blah, 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 blah. I just thought, you know what? I will deal with this when it's time to deal with it. But I'm probably going to castle queenside because I don't think he's going to have like much of attack on the queenside. So I can like always play this. And that's kind of what I had in the back of my mind. Now that's not a good move. It turns out it's really a bad move. But I did it. So I bring my queen here just thinking like, okay, if I don't play this, I want to make sure that my queen is still here. So if he comes here, I just don't have to do anything. And he can maybe do this. And I'll just take back. When he brings his bishop out, then I'm like, okay, he is going to do this. And I started thinking about the implications of him being here. That if I'm not going to take, he can take this with check. And then it puts this like super awkward position on me where I like, you know, have to go like this or something. And I basically just lost a pawn. And now he's going to go back here, and I have no way to threaten it or do anything about it. And if I do this, he's going to come out here, and I have no way to just like stop it. I was just feeling frustrated. So I was like, okay, you know what? I am going to do this. I am just going to stop it. Now, at least, it's not a good move, but at least his knight is stupid, right? At the very least, his knight is stupid. It's not good, but his knight is stupid. He plays this move, which I did not think was good. B6 just seems bad. He's got some weird light squared complexes going on. And in doing so, I feel really comfortable to push my bishop out. I'm no longer worried about this side, and I'm thinking, you know what, I've got a pin here. I can always come in here if I want to threaten. If he lets me in here, he's really kind of in trouble because he'll have to move his rook. And once he moves his rook, I'm just sitting in here forever. He's never going to get any of his pieces out. I guess he sees this, so he plays the bishop there. At this point, I seriously considered doing what I did the other game, which was going here and forcing this trade. But I thought about it and I was like, you know what? It was never good before. At first glance, knight d2 followed by knight f4 would look interesting for white instead of g3. Knight d2 followed by knight f4. Yeah. Maybe, but how does... Oh, I'm sorry. Knight d2 by knight f... Knight d2. Brain. Followed by... Oh, followed by f4. Sorry. f4. f4. Yeah. I was like, how do I... My knight can't do that. It's like, that's not how it works. Yeah, I mean, it does look interesting. And it does solve all the problems that you're talking about. I eventually did go 92, but at the wrong time. But anyway, I was still like, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Decided not to trade this off because whenever I've done this in the past, you can look back in my other YouTube video of game 2 where I did this. It's just not that great of a move. It's just like not that great of a move. Like you take away their bishop, but you take away your own bishop. And I don't know. It just didn't seem great. I wasn't super concerned about this bishop. So instead I pushed this pawn and I just thought, okay, cool, bring it on. Let's go. I just wanted to lock it up a little bit further. And that wasn't really the right thing to do. It wasn't the right thing to do because just kicking me out and creating like a tough situation for me was like, I'm just kind of like letting him do shit. But once he locked it up, it was actually like pretty good for me. So you see here, I actually did do knight d2. And like I said, I did it at the wrong time. was not the correct time here. Then he castles, which is bad, and it's mostly bad because I still have my rook here. I have a pawn pushed, and I'm ready to go. You know, like this just doesn't. I could sack here. Like I have so many things attacking, but attacking just wasn't on my mind. I was just like really struggling to sort of figure out what was going on, and we'll see that later. I did push. Well, I say that I did the right thing. I pushed h3, h4. I could tell that this was like the right thing-ish to do, but I didn't quite know what to do. Again, we will see. And here's where my huge blunder comes in. Another option where I said in the last game how I should have taken a pawn. That would have given me a huge winning advantage, and I didn't. And here's what I was thinking. If I take this pawn, and he comes out here, then this pawn is suddenly weaker. It's only defended by one thing. This knight, like, can't really do much, and, like, this bishop's not really going anywhere unless I'm sacking, and I'm not super comfortable with it. This pawn can push, and I don't really like that. All of the things that I thought were just ghosts. It was just ghosts. Because in reality, if I take this and he goes here, like, the game is over. I come here, this is threatened, this is threatened, this is threatened. Like, what do? You lose something. There's nothing you can do. I mean, if you try to come here to stop it, I can either come here to threaten your rook, which might be the first thing that I do, or I can just take, right? I can just take a piece, like just end of story. At this point, you can't do anything about it, and I can, like, I can come up and take another. I can kick this rook out. Once this rook is out, then I have this knight. Like, the game is just over, right? I can bring it's just over. You can just see very clearly. And for some reason, I was like, nah, I don't like your knight. Get out. I still have an advantage. And he pushes. And at this point, I'm still like, okay, if I do this, he's going to take like this. And if I take like this, then he's going to go like this. I still had so many options here. And I just, for some reason, didn't like it. So I just take. And I was like, let's trade. And even here, I still am winning. And I was thinking, like, am I taking with the pawn? Or am I taking with the queen? And I was like, I don't really want to take with... I don't really want to take with... blah. I don't really want to take with the pawn because I didn't want to double my pawn structure, which is a really dumb thought because this guy is just chilling, waiting to go. And the funny thing is I saw numerous times earlier that, like, this was there. I clocked it in my head. But then when I was making this decision, I just didn't clock it. So he comes here, and I then make another bad move. So here's just like a bunch of little bad moves, kind of like you were saying earlier. It's not like the worst moves. I was not like blundering pieces. But each move built up. And as he found good moves, I kept being forced into finding slightly non-optimal moves. So here again, find a non-optimal move, right? Then he goes here, and I see what he's thinking. He's thinking, oh, if I come here, he'll never castle again. And instead of me thinking, I could just go here and stop that completely, because he has nowhere to go, right? He can't go anywhere. I guess he could go there, but he can't go here, 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 or here. Instead of me doing this, I castle. And I guess it's saying that the computer is giving me the line that I should castle here, which is really weird. It doesn't seem like it. Oh, wait. No, it seems weird. But anyway, I castle. It doesn't even want me to do that. It wants me to kick this knight, which is actually really smart because later that knight comes to like bite me in the ass. I castle, and then he does it, and then it's like, okay, well now I'm kind of stuck, right? Because what do I do? And again, I should bring my bishop back and just stop it. Just there's no reason not to just stop it, but I didn't. So I moved. He brought his queen down. And here I made my first like real calculation error of the whole tournament. To be fair, this is my 5th game after playing 11 hours of chess the day before. And now I was like well into 6 hours of chess today. It's no excuse. It was a bad calculation error. But my calculation was push this pawn. He has to move his bishop, so at least it takes the pressure off this space. Then I can go here, and then I can go here. And the idea was, if he takes, I can take, and then, even if he comes and takes, I can, I have options here. Like there's things I can do. There's choices. It was like if he takes, I can, or maybe I was gonna take this way, and he would take, and I'd take like this. I don't know. Either way, it was fine. I wasn't like super worried about it. It would end up being an even trade, right? Evenish trade. Of course, none of that happens. Oh yeah, I did this first. Sorry. I did this first thinking that once I push this pawn, if he trades this way, I can take, and if he comes down, then I can go like this. Of course, as we can all see, like this is stupid, and it doesn't work because this this knight is pinned. So he takes this, and I just look at it and I go, whoops. That was a mistake. Unfortunate. Then I come here, which isn't a great move for a lot of reasons. But he now makes his own calculation error. He's assuming that I have to take like this way, and then he'll take this way, and then I can't take back, so I have to go like this or something. But it doesn't work that way. This is not how this works. So the idea is I take this, and when he takes this, I'm not really trapped or in trouble or anything like that. I just take with my rook, because now I have 2 pieces for a rook. So we're still in the game at this point, right? We've got 2 pieces for a rook. We're down some pawns. It's not great. We have fighting chances. He takes this. It's no big deal. We go here. Best move. He comes down. He's clearly trying to double rooks. And I start making blunders at this point. I start getting confused and stressed. I don't want him to double his rooks, because I don't know what I would do if he doubled his rooks. So what I end up doing is trying to chase his queen away. His queen comes here, which isn't a good move, but it was good enough. Instead of, I found a good move here, so I got my queen out of the way. Then he doubles his rooks, and I'm just thinking like, okay, I don't want my king to be pinned anymore. I don't want my bishop to be screwed. I saw an opportunity that maybe I could get him to do this, because if he came down now, it wouldn't work. He moved his king so that I wouldn't pin. I tried to unpin my king, which was not really a good move. But at this point, again, I wasn't making great moves. I was just sort of making moves. He moved his queen back at this point, and I'm not sure why, but it wasn't good. And again, we still have fighting chances. We're down 0.8. But I just couldn't find a good move. And this is just kind of stress. This is really just being stressed. This move didn't make sense. I traded because I didn't really have a choice. I moved here. He moved here, and I was down, 1.3 which is comebackable at my level. It 100% is. And really, like, but really, I couldn't do it. I didn't have it in me. It was not going well. And so I made this move, and then the game was basically over. What I, for some reason, didn't calculate is, had I gone here, it would have been okay. It would have been okay because he can't threaten check here. He can't threaten check here. He's kind of stuck. And then, no, he can't do that, right? But like if he comes here, like I can, I have like this kind of maneuver. There's just a bunch of stuff I can do. He kind of just has to make this move. And we're getting back into the territory of just being relatively even. But when I come here, I can no longer defend this knight. And that's the problem. And he notices it. And really at this point, I sat here for like a while and just thought, like, what am I supposed to do? And there really wasn't much I could do, right? What the computer wants me to do is to play this move and have him sack this and take this and win the game, because I can technically mate win the game with a knight and a bishop versus a queen, while being down, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 3 pawns, right? 3 pawns and a queen versus a knight and a bishop. So, yeah, this was time to think about post-tournament beer. 100%. You got it right. 100%. I was just like, oh, man. So I went here instead, and this was kind of like a gamble. Like maybe he'd fuck up. Like maybe he would do something stupid. I wasn't sure. If for some reason he didn't find a check or a checkmate, I was ready to checkmate here, right? So like, let's say like he did something dumb, right? I have checkmate, right? Mate in 3. So I had calculated out that way. Of course, like, he had all the time in the world and found the correct moves. And at this point, I just resigned because, I have one move. And there's this, and then the best I can do is that, right? So anyway, that was the last game. It was frustrating, but the overall takeaway here from all these games was, I get a little bit too aggressive sometimes when I think I'm going to win, and I don't take people's threats seriously. The other thing is, sometimes I don't get aggressive enough, and I'm not creating a plan to really attack their king. And then the third thing is that I'm not trading things that I should be trading. I think I try to not trade as much as I can because I'm like fairly good tactically for my level. But the problem is I'm really bad positionally for my level. So we end up in these situations where, I didn't want to trade these pieces. I thought like, oh, I can kick the knight. I can do X, Y, and Z. If I have to, I'll just trade the thing. And not realizing that, like, if I just trade this, if I just think it through for a minute, this position is, like, unlosable. And here I am thinking about, like, this stuff, right? And not thinking about this stuff. So, that's that. And it is what it is. It was a good game. I went 2-2-1 overall against I won against a 1390. I lost against a 908. I won against a 1041. I tied against a 1037, and I lost against 1195. So, given that my rating was 874, I was the only person in the bracket in the tournament who was playing this level of person at my rating, everybody was significantly lower. I assume my elo will go up a lot. So, you know, that's good. It's progress. I didn't play fantastically. There's still a ton to learn. There's still a ton to do. And these are things that I have to figure out. But I did not win a class prize because the classes were just, it was just U1500. So even though in U1500 I was, ultimately in the tournament I came in 7th out of 40 people in the U1500 bracket. But, you know, there was no prize for 7th. And because I had a rating, I didn't get like an unrated prize. But it was a really fun tournament. I learned a ton, like I said. Super enjoyed it. Really happy that I went. And I'm going to keep going to tournaments. I'm on a tournament grind right now. I've made it a mission to go on as many tournaments as I can. So I'm going to be going to a tournament pretty much every other weekend. So in 2 weekends from now, I have another tournament. And I'm just going to grind it out and play a lot, look at a lot of games, study, and learn whatever I can. So, yeah, that was my last game and the final day of this tourney. That being said, thanks for watching. And if you're on YouTube, please follow and subscribe and enjoy it. And thanks for stopping by.